Yep.
Who?
Greg Hackett.
Oh, it's Zoom.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Bring him on there.
Greg, how are you? Good morning. You got to unmute, champ.
What's going on? My bad.
No worries, man. Good morning. Thank you for coming on. How are you?
Good morning. Appreciate y'all. I'm doing all right. How about y'all?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good. I think you trained my little man, or at least work with him. Oh my God, I gotta go to my Instagram because I'm gonna forget his name. He in his Instagram is Badlands Ethan, right? Ethan, don't you work with Ethan sometimes?
Yeah, I work with Ethan sometimes.
That's my guy, man. I've been following him for a while. He reminds me of a young Danny Garcia with that little left hook he got, man.
Yeah, he's a strong kid. He stay in good shape.
So, Greg, man, introduce yourself to our audience. Let them know, let's start with your beginning, man. How'd you get into the sport?
Greg Hackett, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I got into boxing, just, getting caught up in the streets, fighting, stuff like that. My mom suggested I go to the gym. At 12 years old, I've been in and out of the gym since then. I'm saying in and out because sometimes, I had to do what I had to do to make some money or whatever. I had my first son when I was 20 years old, stuff like that, turned pro at 21, but I always been around the sport, always been around the gym, even when I couldn't, actually train. That's it. Philadelphia, you know what it is.
So when did you decide to become a trainer?
I started training fighters in 2012. It was the winter of 2012. I started working with some amateurs at the gym because, I seen that some of them wasn't getting some attention. So I started messing around with them, and then I started training pros in 2013.
So obviously, just to get everything out, because I know people will ask this either in the comment section or, post interview. Why do you feel you're going to be a good trainer when some will look at your record and obviously say, how could he teach someone if he wasn't as successful as a professional fighter themselves? And obviously I'm speaking for the comment section because I know, I know Freddie Roach wasn't a champion. Ronnie Shields wasn't a champion. Derrick James wasn't a champion. But I'm just saving, the time and getting every question out.
Phil Jackson wasn't a star at all.
Exactly.
One of the greatest, and he coached one of the greatest basketball players ever. Customato didn't fight. He would be around the gym, trained a little bit, but he never fought. He trained one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. So it's just, that's just people's opinion when they say things like that. But that has nothing to do with my brain, and how my brain works. I didn't take too much damage in my career, even with the losses. The losses is just the outcome of the fight based on, the situation. I got called in a lot of times on short notice. I fought guys in their hometown. Even though I'm from Philly, I only fought in Philly 2 times. Out of 24 fights.
But Greg, why would you take these fights though? I'm going through your record and I'm looking at these names of the people. I know these dudes. Like, why would you take these fights if you weren't ready? Like, what? Give me the story. Give me and my audience the story. Put us in your situation so that we can understand. Like, maybe it was a dark time, but like, I'm looking at this like you fought Donnell Livingston. 2 fights later, you in there with Alontes Fox and Jarrett Hurd. After that, it's like, when did you decide? Let me pump the brakes. I'm getting opportunity. Let me focus on me and get right because I could beat these guys.
So I'm gonna tell you. I'm my own worst enemy. And what I mean by that is, I always did things, my way, kind of my way, because when I try to do things the other people's way, I didn't like how it was going or I didn't like the way it turned out. With that being said, I got caught up in a time of my life where it was like, I had to turn pro. I had to start making money because I wasn't never the best drug dealer. You understand? I wasn't the best gangster. I wasn't out here taking money from people and stuff like that. My heart, that's not what my heart possesses. I always been a fighter. what people don't understand about boxing is everybody think they educated on boxing now because Mayweather start talking about A side, B side, stuff like that. These are conversations that wasn't being had until that time. So I thought when they would call these fights, I thought they was calling this shit fair. I didn't know you would go into the fight already losing the fight when you walk into somebody's backyard. Also, it wasn't too many managers around. You know what I mean? The managers that we had around at the time, they was kind of playing the favorite game. You know, they would pick the favorite fighters or they would pick the popular fighters, which now I understand why. It was just a time where, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, well, I got to get out here and fight. Another thing is when I would try to get fights at 147 pounds, stuff like that, nobody would fight me. I couldn't get the even fights. You know what I mean? So I would fight at 54. I would fight at 60. And that's how those fights were happening. You know what I mean? And then when I got to like the middle of my career, after like probably like 9 fights, I kind of said, fuck it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go in there and definitely try to win, but it's definitely for the money now. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't even really look at it like, all right, I'm going to try to turn my record around because nobody would give me a shot. You know what I'm saying? You can't, one thing I learned about boxing, you can't make somebody fight you. You know what I mean? These fights that we're seeing is not because the fighters won them, it's because the promoters won them. You know what I mean? When you understand the business. I mean, just to make it short for you.
Absolutely, man. That definitely hit hard. It's not when we want them, it's because the promoters want them. So that is something. I mean, right now, today's topic, we're talking about the fact that Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford have allegedly agreed. We just heard an interview with Danny Garcia, who's from Philadelphia. He was doing an interview with Brian Custard where he leaked the information that Earl has agreed and that the fight's happening in October. So it's like you said, it's finally the time where the promoters want it because obviously Earl and Terrence could have unified so long ago, one belt apiece.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like boxing is just like entertainment business. You know what I mean? Movies get made 2 years before they come out. Albums get made a year before they come out. And people don't understand that. So when the fans be yelling,
damn, that's a good point. That is a good point, man.
When the fans be yelling back and forth about, this guy's scared of that guy, it's not true. It's just the fact that it's not time. It's not time for the promoters to put it out. They look at it like albums. They look at it like movies. You know what I'm saying? That's just exactly what it is.
Damn, you dropping some gems. I like the phrases that you're using. You're right. The analogies, the metaphor, because you're right. An artist goes in there. Bruh, it's who was it? Kendrick that said he's sitting on like 500 songs on the phone that he can't unlock, or it was Drake. So I get what you're saying. Yeah. What do you think about that fight though? I know rumor is October 29th. Do you believe that? Because you're in that Jerron Ennis gym, so I know some shit floating around there. You might have heard a thing or two, but regardless, what's your opinion on if it's agreed and who are you picking and why?
I mean, that fight, I believe is going to happen because it has to happen. That's the fight that has to be made right now. That's the biggest fight I feel like in boxing right now. What's the name? Earl Spence is like King Kong and Bud is like Godzilla. You know what I mean? They got to meet. I like that fight. I like both guys. It's actually a 50-50 fight to me. I kind of favor Bud, but Earl Spence is very dangerous. You know what I mean? Very dangerous. His body attack is like, you know what I mean, like none other. We ain't seen nobody go to the body like that in a long time. But at the same time, we haven't seen anybody as suspenseful as Bud. You know what I mean? Bud is real sneaky and he'll hurt you with either hand. You know what I mean? So I really can't pick a winner, to be honest. I think it's just going to be a great fight.
Something tells me you could pick a winner if I said who would beat out of both the men versus Jerron Ennis, though.
I mean, you got to understand, Boots is the younger man, and boxing is a young man's sport. You know what I mean? That's why we not seeing Spence and Bud until they both in their 30s. You know what I mean? So, of course, I would pick Boots, you know what I mean, based off the talent and based off the ability and based off the youth. But to be honest, like I said before, that's another 50-50 fight because Boots hasn't seen an Earl or a Bud, but Bud hasn't seen a Earl or Boots. And then Spence hasn't seen a Boots or a Bud. You know what I mean? So it's just tough to pick. You know what I mean? But I would gamble on Boots because I watch him every day and consistently he puts in work. Like, you know what I mean? It's not just because he's talented. Like, this kid grinds every day. You know what I mean? He put it in every day. Even when he's not fighting, he in the gym helping the other fighters. A lot of fighters don't do that. You know what I mean? A lot of fighters don't live the life he lived. He not out drinking. He not out smoking. Not out hanging out. You'll never catch Boots hanging at a bar or some shit like that in Philly. You know what I mean? That's not the kind of person he is. So he's a safe bet. So I definitely would gamble on Boots.
For sure, man. So, Greg, now that you've become a trainer, who are you working with? And who should we be looking out for? Or are you only working with amateurs? Or do you have any potential professional prospects?
No, I got a professional that's 4-0, 4 knockouts. He just fought last Friday. His name is Jabril Noble. I think he will be one of the best in the sport, not because I'm training him, because he has those qualities of a great fighter. You know what I mean? He works a 10 to 12-hour shift every day and then come to the gym and give me everything he got in his body. You know what I mean? Like I said, he don't smoke or drink. He don't hang out. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely going to gamble on him. And he fights at 130 pounds up to 135, but he could possibly make 126 with a real camp. And I recently just started working with Avery Sparrow again. We worked one fight some years ago where he fought an 8-rounder against a kid named Anthony Burgeon, and we won that fight by decision. And he recently came back to me for this fight. He'll be fighting July 23rd at 130 pounds. And he has an 11-3 record with 4 knockouts. Some people seen him fight, Rolly Romero or what's the kid that just got knocked out by Robisi?
Abraham Supernova.
Yeah, Abraham Nova, stuff like that.
Yeah, we've seen Avery.
I've seen Avery a lot, but he's had inconsistencies in his career. Explain to me why you believe it's going to be different. Like, every time I want to bet on him, and I don't mean that literally, just like bet on him, he fucks me over. Like, I promise you, I knew he was going to lose to Hank Lundy. I told my audience, like, Lundy too experienced, man, and Sparrow too inconsistent, even though he got the dog in him.
He beat Hank Lundy.
Nah.
Yeah,
I know he beat him, but I didn't think he won. That was a majority decision, though. I felt like he was. I don't know.
I mean, he put him down 2 times in the fight, and he landed the cleaner shots. It was a rough fight, but he beat Hank Lundy. But Avery, he was one of those kids like me that, he spent a lot of time on his own. His father died when he was young. He ran around just doing what he wanted to do. Sometimes you got to learn,
But is he out the street? Because remember, he had a fight with Ryan, then he had a warrant, then that fight never happened. And I mean Ryan Garcia.
I'm gonna be totally honest. I can't account for what a man doing outside of the gym. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but if he's coming to the gym, you as a trainer know if he coming to the gym, he putting them hours, it's kind of hard for him to be in the street.
Yeah, but this is Philadelphia. Anything is possible. A lot go on. It's 24 hours in a day. I'm seeing him for 2.5 hours. You know what I mean? So I don't know what the man doing at nighttime. I don't know what he doing early in the morning. All I know, he coming to see me at 10 o'clock a.m. and we working up until 12, 12:30. And then,
How long have you guys been working together consistently?
We only been back for like a week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
He won his last fight, though.
You think you could get him in shape in 5 weeks?
I mean, anything is possible.
Because William Foster's undefeated, man.
Yeah, William Foster's undefeated, but he has a real crazy style where he opens himself up and he leaves out a lot of opportunities for you to, put something to him. You know what I mean? He's not a real good fighter. He's just an aggressive fighter. And he comes in good shape, though. He comes in good shape.
I mean, Sparrow would be the biggest name on his resume, man.
For sure. And that's the difference. You fighting a fighter who's been in there with some top guys and some, with some experience, and he's been up there where he's had some good opportunities to be on TV. So we're not nervous, for sure. It's just that, things got to be right.
Yeah. I want to say the last fight I watched, it was his tank, man. He just wasn't in shape.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's the lifestyle. You know what I mean? You got to live this shit. You know what I mean? It's just like the Army. You got to wake up early in the morning, put it in. You know what I mean? Go ahead, eat, get you a little rest, and get right back to it. But everybody not able to do that. But I believe Avery will get the win.
Some people like to say that endurance or stamina comes from, rounds in the gym, in actual sparring. Others say it's got to be a combination of like high interval training, running, and sparring. What do you think is best for building endurance to ensure that a fighter has that Devin Haney tank, as I like to say, because Devin moved all night in that Kambosos fight to ensure that win. When you stop moving, that's when you can get hit.
I mean, to be flat out is staying away from all the wrong things, which is the drugs, the liquor, the girls, and putting your road work in. It's always been the road work to me. But I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of guys who do a lot of extra strength and conditioning and shit like that and still get tired. At the end of the day, your brain and your heart is the strongest two muscles in your body. If you can't control your heart, then it don't matter what you do.
What you mean by control your heart? You mean the pace?
You can control your heart rate. The same way you can control your legs, you can control your brain by telling your brain what to do. You can control your heart rate. There's guys who they don't do nothing but jog, and they come in there and they give you 10 rounds easy. There's guys who do all this extra training and they get tired. Sean Porter got tired against Bud, but that's because the high velocity, he couldn't handle it. It started becoming to be too much for him. Yeah, he was still aggressive because that's him, but he was burning out, and that's why his dad stopped the fight. He didn't want his son to get hurt.
So you believe that was the Sean we all know? Because we just had Coach Larry Wade in here yesterday, yeah. and he was with Sean since he started his boxing career. Not since Sean started, but since Larry Wade started being a strength and conditioning coach to boxers. And he even said that Sean wasn't giving 100% in camp. The signs was on the wall. Tank did that interview a week before to ask Sean. Sean, no. And obviously he's saying that because he got off on him in sparring.
Yeah, but the thing is, every dog has their day. Sean Porter has been boxing since he was about 9 years old. At some point, your body going to give up on you. Sean Porter has never not been Sean Porter. So I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Sean Porter has not ever.
But not Greg, you seen that style of Sean? Like, in order to be Sean Porter, you got to give 100% in camp. You got to put in the miles. Because no one has that type of. Like, I keep telling people this. I don't even think we ever gonna see another Sean Porter. Like, we'll never see that style again.
I'm gonna tell you something you didn't pick up on. Do you remember the story his father told about when him and Bud was in the hallway and Bud challenged his father to a fight?
Yes.
And remember when his dad said he walked off, right?
Yes.
Now, you remember when his dad put his hands on Fred?
Yes.
How come his dad didn't put his hands on Bud?
I mean, Fred violated. Fred and Ken had a different, and Ken told us that story. He looked at, I believe the time you're talking about was in the amateurs, and Ken was the amateur coach, and he did say what you said, like, yo, I walked away because I knew he'd have fucked me up. I'm not denying that, but I'm also saying he still was an adult looking at a kid. Like, I'm not about to fight a kid.
All right, let me tell you this. Again, let me tell you this. Bud was a grown man. He wasn't a kid. He was anybody 18 and up, you a grown man. You challenged me to a fight. Now, we talking about a man who got enough balls to smack a social media whatever you want to call it, influencer or YouTube influencer, right? In Philadelphia is a such thing called having picks. To me, he has picks. What that means is you fear Bud. There's a fear set in when it come to Bud that he already was scared for his son. I feel like he passed that energy to his son. When he saw his son go down, he stopped that fight because he didn't want his son to get hurt. I think it was just because he already in his mind thought his son would lose to Bud. I don't think it had anything to do. I'm being honest.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Because if a young man challenged me and he 18 years old, he challenged me to a fight in a hallway, we gonna get to it.
But you a coach. No, Greg. You're a coach. You gotta some way try to get to that. You're a mentor. When you become a coach, you're a mentor. You're a father figure.
I'm a mentor, right?
Yeah.
I'm a mentor. And the fighter is supposed to understand that, right?
Yeah, but kids disrespect.
Right.
That's what they do.
Okay. And when they disrespect you, how do they get put back in line? Back in the day, what you do? You
Discipline
Right.
don't mean physical though. But I get you. Everybody, I mean, you know, you from the East Coast. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, guess what? Where I come from, that's how we handle discipline.
No, I hear you. I'm from the East Coast too. I know what you're saying, man.
You playing with a grown man, and legally you're a grown man. I'm gonna go ahead and put my hands on you. I'm gonna make sure that you remember my name for the rest of your life.
Coach, so you mean to tell me, what you saying is that it is your belief that Kenny's nervous energy passed on to Sean?
Exactly. Exactly. And if you can't control how do you think people run marathons? You have to control your heart rate. If you can control your heart rate, you can do 12 rounds in that ring. A lot of people can't do it. When the fight picks up, a lot of people can't do it. So they crumble.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he passed that nervous energy to his son before that fight even started. And when he saw his son go down, he pulled him out of there. Sean Porter was physically able and still ready to go.
He was. He was. Everyone believes that. Like, you know, we've talked about that over and over, and people do believe it. They believe him pounding on the ring was just frustration. Like, fuck, I got dropped again, but not. You know, he showed energy. So I get what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, he was still in the fight.
So, is there any relation to the new Hackett out here fighting for Top Rank?
He not my folks through blood, but I do call him my little cousin.
Okay. But he's not from Philadelphia. He's from New York, no?
No, he's from DC, I believe.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Jalil Hackett.
Okay.
From DC.
So I wasn't sure. So no relation there. All right. So when other than Avery Sparrow, you said you had that other fighter. What's his name once again, and his social media? And also, does he have any expected return date?
His name is Jabril Noble. Fights at 130 pounds. Social media is JN Lil Dump, LILDUMP. His next scheduled date will be in September, but we're gonna try to catch something like the first week of August if possible.
Okay, I'm following him already, but man, that is not easy. You need to tell him put his name. He don't got his name nowhere. It say JN period Lil Dump. Then it say Cold Boxing Ball. He need his name somewhere to be found. So you saying he next up?
For sure. 5'9", 130 pounds.
Wow, that is pretty tall. Who he so being at it, okay, so he gets work with Paul Crow. Coach, you there?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he been in there with Paul Crow, been in there with Shakur Stevenson, he been in there with Africa, he been in there with a lot of fighters.
Oh, I see him with Josephat as well.
Yeah, Josephat Ortiz.
Okay. Oh, he got some rounds with Danny?
Yeah, he got a few rounds with Danny.
That's a little strange. How was that? Because I know Danny and obviously Angel, and I've interviewed them for a long time, man. And Angel told me he don't bring in no killers to spar Danny. He say ain't nobody gonna hurt the champ.
And he say,
well, you gotta remember, my guy's at 130 pounds, so he ain't too big.
So he really can't kill the champ. You're right. Yo, Angel ain't no joke. What you think about that, Coach? Because I used to be from the East Coast. I just transitioned over here to the West Coast, and I'm telling you, it's night and day. Like, I feel like on the East, people go hard, but the trainers are over that top rope, and they watch, and if somebody get hit with a nice right hand, like, oh, they'll stop that, let my man get his shit together. Out here, they fighting. It's a fucking fight. Like, I'm seeing dudes bleeding. They on the ropes just getting bodied. I'm like, what the? How is you learning from this? So teach me, because I'm not the trainer.
So you mean you seeing that on the East Coast or the West Coast?
West Coast. They fighting like a motherfucker out here.
Oh, it's the same. Trust me.
So
everybody don't handle it the same. You got to remember, that's, again, we talking about a father. We not talking about a coach who was known for coaching other fathers. Other fighters. We talking about a coach who trained his son. So he's going to handle it a little bit different, a little bit extra care, because that's his son. But we can't say he did a bad job because look at the level.
For sure, for sure. What do you expect from Danny versus Jose Benavidez Jr.?
I mean, I think Danny will feel refreshed going up to 154. I think it's an even fight because they both coming from 47 going up to 54. I think Benavidez will be nice and fast, but I think if he try to do too much, I think Danny will hurt him.
Okay. So you picking Danny?
Of course, I'm picking Danny. Philadelphia. I'm going to rock with Philly. It don't matter, matter the circumstances. But I just think Danny he will feel comfortable at 154. That's the word I'm gonna use. He'll feel very comfortable at 154. He's been making 40 and 47 for a long time. So being in his 30s, fighting at 54, I think he'll feel great.
So what's up with this Philly thing, man? Why dudes from Philly don't want to fight each other? Because a lot of people expected Danny to pass the torch to Jaron.
I mean, people don't understand how close Philly is. Like, what I mean by that is Philly, not everybody in Philly is close, but Philly is a small city with a lot of people. So sometimes those fights don't happen because you know each other's family. You know what I mean? These guys sometimes spend time around each other, even if they don't talk about it. So a fight would bring a lot of tension in the city. And as we all know, the city is on fire right now with the guns. So it's like, you know what I mean? You try to stay away from certain shit.
Do you feel like that's why, even though they're not from the same city, but is that a reason why we never got Tevin Farmer versus Gervonta Tank Davis?
No, I think that fight had to do with promotional companies and it had to do with timing.
Timing. Why wasn't it the right time to fight a dude that had a belt that already had 4 losses? That fight never happened and never made sense to me.
Because you got to think about it. Tank was still in the grooming stages, even though he was a star and even though he was making some money and he had won some belts himself, but he was still in the grooming stages. They didn't get to see everything they wanted to see out of Tank. At the same time, Tev at that point was probably the slickest fighter around. So you didn't want to put the puncher in there with the fighter that was too slick and make him look bad if we can possibly have him be a star later on in the sport. Because look at how we talking about Tank now. Tevin could have possibly fucked that up.
Wow. So speaking of Tank, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It was the same way Floyd didn't fight Paul Williams.
Word. Paul was a problem, man, back then. But I think Floyd would have beat him because Paul always gave up his height and never used his reach. My man wanted to be in the pocket.
Yeah, but think about it. That's the way he fought, and he definitely threw over 100 punches around.
No, he definitely was averaging 1,000 over per fight. But Floyd would have always had that Laura fight and the Margarito fight. Even though Paul beat Margarito pre-hand wraps, he got touched up in that motherfucking fight. That was a fight. It took something out of him, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so Floyd always had those 2 fights to go back to. And see what mistakes. I don't know how you think it would have played out. I'm glad you brought that up. People they act as if Floyd never, like those 2 guys never was in the same division, man. It's crazy.
I mean, I think Paul Williams would have swarmed him. I think
really.
Yeah, he would. I mean, you got to remember, man. We talking about a 6'1", 147 pounder. You know what I mean? And he was coming out of Georgia. If you know anything about fighters coming out of Georgia, they always hard workers. So I'm not saying Floyd. He would have, ran Floyd over, but I'm just saying I think he would have swarmed him and he would have made Floyd had to really dig deep. And you know what I mean? I just think his father didn't want that for him because if you remember, his father said a long time ago, "I don't want my son fighting any southpaws." So I think him being a southpaw, being 6'1", throwing over 100 punches around, I don't think it just was a good matchup for him.
So let me ask you, even after Paul lost to Sergio Martinez, you think he still would have had a shot?
I mean, we talking about that was at 160 pounds, though.
No, wasn't that 54 the first fight?
Nah, it was at 160.
You're going to make me Google, Greg.
Yeah, he was at 160.
Danny, you supposed to be the almanac over here.
I'm pulling it up.
Sergio 159, you right. Damn.
They both was at 60.
Yeah.
Bruh, but yo, and remember, I don't know, Floyd should have did it anyway, because now that I'm looking at his record, I remember watching that Quintana fight. Quintana put his big ass down, I think it was in the second round, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember that fight.
Quintana put him down. Then
was
Keith
actually-
went up there and beat Quintana breaks.
It was actually a catchweight of 58. Yeah.
Okay, still 160 though.
Nah, for sure.
Yeah, anything over 54 is
sure.
considered 60.
Yeah. So, Greg, man, what's your thoughts on Bivol and Canelo, man? I was not expecting that. Did you pick Bivol? Did you know it would be that difficult for Canelo?
I didn't know if it would be that difficult, but I did say that Bivol is a prime 175. So okay, you know how we got guys, let's say Rolly Romero, he fight at 135 pounds, but he be blowing up to almost 170 pounds. So let's go up to light heavyweight. A light heavyweight might walk around at 210. You understand?
Yeah.
A real light heavyweight. He break himself down to 175. That's too much man for Canelo. Canelo stand probably 5'8" at best. You know what I mean? Bivol is a real light heavyweight, and those guys are built different. They got different bone structure. Did he beat Kovalev? Yeah, he beat Kovalev. But we talking about Kovalev after he took a beating from Andre Ward, and we talking about Kovalev, who's a known drinker. But Bivol is not that kind of man, and Bivol is a little younger. So you know what I mean? I just thought it would be a good matchup, but I didn't think that he would, be there every round for Canelo in that fight. I thought he would slow down a little bit, but you know what I mean? He showed different. And I think Canelo should stay away from him.
He want the rematch. He just said, they asked him like, oh, are you going to give Benavidez a shot? What does Benavidez has to do to get a shot? He's like, right now I'm only focused on the GGG fight and then the rematch with Bivol. So you advising him, don't do the rematch.
Yeah, too much man. Because he showed it. He showed that he wasn't affected by Canelo's punches. Those same punches that knock guys out, he wouldn't budge Bivol.
But now, don't you think as a trainer, that's because he went in there with that game plan, like I'm about to either do what I did to Callum and break his arm or bicep, or eventually stop him like I did Sergey. Like I felt like he went in there on some power punching shit and he didn't change the game plan. Like he seen after round 6, yo, this ain't working. So he just never changed the game plan. So I feel like maybe this fight, they like, well, look, we thought we would eventually get him late, like we eventually get everybody late. That shit ain't gonna work. We got to go out there and outbox him now.
Well, you remember how Aaron Pryor, he had Alexis Arguello's number on and off the drugs. I don't care what weight class. I don't care what game plan. I don't think he got it for Bivol.
Damn. Well, I gotta ask about your guy, Stephen Fulton, man. We just seen MJ Moradon Akhmadaliev beat Daniel Roman, defending his unified belts. Your guy, Stephen Fulton, immediately goes to Twitter and says, easy work. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, people don't understand what Cool Boy is. You know what I mean? Some people try to call him a boxer. Some people say he a brawler because of how he fights. What he is he adjusts to his surroundings. So whatever MJ tries to bring to the table, he gonna bring that and more. So this is why this guy's dangerous. And his frame, he has thin legs, but his upper body is real strong. He got a real strong upper body. He's kind of hard to deal with. You know what I mean? He has an aqua style. He can box. He can bang. I mean, he can fight going left, fight going right, fight in circles, whatever you want to do. So I don't really see any of those guys under 126 pounds giving him trouble. I think he'll beat all of them.
Coach, what's your opinion over the pound for pound, man? That causes a lot of debate here for us. You know, I like to use accolades as how I put a person on there. Like, what have you done? Who have you beat? What belts have you gathered? To me, undisputed is end all be all. If you're undisputed, then you should automatically be on the list. The only way that another undisputed champion tops you was his run more difficult? Was the people that he fought to undisputed better fighters? But like, if you're undisputed, you deserve to be on the list, you know? And then everyone under you can be like unified or two-time champion or one-time champion in one division, unified in another. How do you assess who you put on your list? Or do you not believe in that shit?
The pound for pound, from my understanding when I was younger, I thought it had to do with you actually going to other weight classes and conquering, because I remember Roy Jones used to call himself pound for pound, and he was pound for pound, but it was because he turned pro at 154, fought at 60 a little bit, and then went to 68, and then light heavyweight. I thought that's what pound for pound was when you go to different weight classes and conquer. Sugar Ray Robinson did the same thing. I just thought that's what it was. But nowadays, they're giving it to him based off popularity, based off just who they like and who they don't like. So I really, to be honest, I really don't pay attention to the pound for pound list.
All right. Well, we do have some questions from the people that I have pulled up here. First one's come from San Antonio, Texas. It's James Valdez. He says, did you see the Josecito Lopez versus Cody Crowley fight? In that fight, Lopez's trainer, Robert Garcia, literally knew mid-fight that Lopez was not going to win. Kind of like during the Mikey versus Earl fight. My question, how would you handle a situation like that, knowing your fighter is not going to win? Do you let him try and survive till the 12th like Robert did, or do you stop it to fight another day?
Well, I'm going to be honest. No fighter wants to be stopped. You know what I mean? They definitely don't want their trainer to stop the fight. But if my fighter's taking a beating, I think I will stop it. But if he's showing me some life, if he's showing me some, you know what I mean, some grit, then I'm going to say, listen, bro, you got to go out here and get a knockout. If you don't get the knockout, then it's over. That's the best I can do. But if my fighter's taking a beating, then I'll stop it.
Okay. I got Bougie from Broward who says, yo, what's good, coach? Thanks for pulling up on us today. I don't even have a question, but remember me because I'm coming to Philly for the first time ever this year just to slide to Boots University, Gym, for a few days and soak up the game. So please remember my name, Bougie from Broward. Hashtag okay then.
Appreciate you, bro.
Best Dad Ever from Baltimore says, my favorite fighter coming into this pro boxing scene is your boy, Jalil. Been asking for that interview for a while now. He is considered Tank's top sparring partner. What have you guys learned from Tank, and how has that work made you guys better? I think he thinks you're related to Jalil, right?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't have nothing to do with Jalil Hackett. We just got the same last name. That's my guy, though. He a good kid, man. Real good kid. And his father is a sturdy guy, man. He worked that kid hard.
We have Young Tigre also in San Antonio that says, your thoughts on Bam Rodriguez's performance this past weekend versus Sungwon Visai?
I've been asked about that kid about 4 times. And to be honest, I didn't really see the fight. And somebody asked me, was he ready for NUA? And I don't think so. But I didn't get to see too much of him.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. Is he ready for Inoue? I mean, if Inoue came down, maybe I don't want him to go up because he jumped up from 108 to become champ at 115, right?
No, yeah, he skipped.
No. Bam, when he got that
they
first.
They both did.
Yeah, but Inoue's been at 18 longer.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, I just like to always remind people that when Estrada, Chocolatito, Soren Visa, and all the killers was at 12, he skipped 12 to go to 15.
He being Inoue.
Correct.
But they both jumped up from 108. Bam just did that, coach. So I wouldn't want him to move up to 118 too. Like, if Inoue wants some of this action, have his ass come down. His name ain't even popping like Bam's. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. What you think of Inoue? Obviously, you think he good because you said you don't think he ready. But what's your thoughts on him as an overall fighter?
I mean, from everything I watched about him, he keep his hands up high. He keep his feet ticking. You know what I mean? His reflexes is top notch.
Yeah.
His punches, he turned them over nice and clean. He don't waste his punches. He's a dangerous individual. You know what I mean? You can't go in there just thinking you know what's up with him because he'll adjust to you. And then, I mean, one thing about him that I do like, he's not afraid to take a shot when he sees what he wants. When he see what he wants, he gonna take the shot and he gonna give you something real. So, you know what I mean? I don't think that kid really just ready. I don't know too much about that kid just yet.
I need you to watch some of Bam fights, man, because Bam is like the Mexican Lomachenko with the angles, man. He creates angles and he digs to the body, but he's a boxer. He's not. He's rare. He's rarely there to be hit. The motherfucker's using his legs very good. But you are right. He's just building that experience. He just beat Cuadras, and now he beat Rungsvisal. So those are two elite fighters, but like that just happened. So, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
We got Rue in the 504, which is New Orleans. He says, what was the most difficult aspect of transitioning from a fighter to a trainer?
Probably the most difficult was telling myself, like, I have to put myself second and, you know what I mean, pay more attention to my fighters. Like, you know what I mean, don't worry about fighting so much. You know what I mean, just go ahead and focus on the fighters.
I got Big Casual says, what's up, coach? At what weight class do you think Fulton will max out at? And who has a better case to be top 10 pound for pound, Fulton or Bam Rodriguez, who we just spoke about? Stefan has the style, skill set, and accomplishments to be on the top 10 pound for pound. You already said you're not really into pound for pound, so where do you think Stephen Fulton maxes out at? Like, where does he end his career? What division?
I think he can cap out at 135.
Okay, that's definitely one of the money divisions right now. I got Brandon in Houston. It says, were you there for the Blair Cobbs, Jerron Ennis sparring? If so, what really happened?
No, I wasn't there for that, but, you know, I only heard stories. But Blair is a ball of energy. You know what I mean? That's how his style is based off his energy. He do a lot of jumping around. You know what I mean? He sneaks his punches in there. Sometimes he get caught, and sometimes, you know what I mean, he's successful. But to be honest, Boots is like a ninja, bro. Boots is trained under a monk, and he's a ninja for sure. And he's hard to deal with. So I don't really see Blair getting the best of that work.
I think that might be all. I'm refreshing here, Coach. But in the meantime, give me your social media for anybody that isn't following can do so.
Greg Hackett 86 on Instagram, Greg Hackett on Facebook, and Greg Hackett on what is that, Twitter? But I really don't be on Twitter.
I got one more coming in from Huntsville, Alabama. James Benitez says, you said Cool Boy beats everyone under 126. You sure you ready to step up and fight Gary Russell?
Yeah, even though Gary Russell is a great fighter, I like Gary Russell a lot, but I just think that Gary Russell has ran his course. Gary Russell is getting into that fourth quarter, and he's going to have to pull some amazing shit off. Cool Boy, I just think Cool Boy just bring too much to the table, bro.
Yo, so you used to rap, right?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Never. You never had spit bars.
We used to get high on the block and freestyle. That's it.
Cause you use hella metaphors. I love that last one. Yeah, he said Gary Russell's in the fourth quarter. That shit sound like, yo, it's over for the careers. He's at the last lap. It's true.
Some of the shit he's saying, I'm like, either he been around a fuck ton of old heads or he do a lot of reading.
Yeah, no, you dropping jewels on here. I hope these fools choose to listen. Yeah, man. That is the last question. Now, I'm gonna refresh one more time because I refreshed it and Huntsville, Alabama pulled up.
We got anything else?
Oh, we do. Jazz, I don't know where he's from, but he says, any predictions for Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall?
I don't really know too much about Marshall. Clarissa Shields is the baddest chick on the planet. Her just game is A1. And I don't know, man. I just think she just, when it comes to boxing, I don't like seeing her in MMA, but in boxing, I don't think it's too many females can deal with her.
What do you think is going to happen in the Bumgarner fight versus Michaela Mayer, man?
Now, that's a great fight. That's a great matchup. Bumgarner has never seen anything like Michaela Mayer, but on the other end, Michaela Mayer has never seen anything like Bumgarner, and I honestly can't pick a win, but I'm definitely interested in that fight.
Do you believe in the power of Bumgarner? Because, like, you know, women's boxing doesn't really see knockouts. Now, all of a sudden, she got this big, knockout where she knocked a girl out on her feet.
Yeah.
Should we start expecting that from her?
Well, I'm gonna say this: female boxing is very passionate, and they let their hands go a lot. I wouldn't say expect the knockout because, you know what I mean, at that speed where the hands are flying and then they only got 2 minutes to work with, I wouldn't say expect it, but definitely expect a great fight out of it.
You brought up the 2 minutes, and I hate to keep you any longer than we need to, but what's your thoughts? Should women's boxing be on an equal playing field, not only in pay, but in time in the ring? Because a lot of women do want that last minute.
To be honest, I don't really even like seeing females fight, but I do respect it. I think 2 minutes is good because the female body is built a little bit different. No matter how hard a woman trains, you know what I mean? No matter how hard she goes, you know what I mean, and tries to prove that she's different, she's still a female, and the female organs are built a little different. So I don't think a female fight should have to go to 3 minutes. I think it'll be a lot more brutal, and then it probably be a few cases out here where women can't have babies and stuff like that. And I think that's horrible. You know what I mean? So I don't think it should go to 3 minutes.
Man, I just had another one. Oh, being out there in Philly.
I'm on the phone.
Being out there in Philly, Coach, have you heard of a female by the name of Shadasia Green?
Yeah, Shadasia, she been training out Jersey though. I don't know if she's from Philly, but
nah, she not from Philly. She not. She.
Yeah.
I just know she go down there to get that work every now and then.
Yeah, I like her. I like her a lot. The only thing I don't like about Shadasia, I don't think she really uses her strength, you know, completely. I think she's working on her style and she's staying sharp and she's definitely in shape. But I think she can go in there and just break something, and that's what I want to see her do.
On some like Ann Wolf shit, right? Cause that's the thing. She a cute boxer. She wanna be East Coast pretty, like double jab, double left hook, and slip shit. But she's so fucking strong, you figure she could just walk somebody down and knock them out, right?
Yeah, she's a beast. I
She
think
just killed some shit last night. She just fought last night.
In Colombia, right?
Yeah, killed some shit.
Yeah, she stopped the girl in the 3rd round.
Yeah, she got like what, 8 knockouts, 9 fights now?
10-0.
Yes.
Oh.
I want to say 10-0, 9 knockouts.
Well, Greg, man, I want to thank you obviously for coming on. This has been actually very, very fun and entertaining. I hope to get you back on. Please keep in touch with Bo, our producer, so that once your fighter has a fight scheduled, we could get him on as well and, you know, bring you back for the victory lap after that fight as well, and even after the Avery Sparrow fight. Or get Sparrow on, man. Love to talk to him. But thank you again. Catch you on the next one. If you want to give out your social media one more time for anybody crazy enough not to be following you, please do so. If not, enjoy the rest of your day.
Greg Hackett 86 on Instagram, Greg Hackett on Facebook. I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you,
it, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Coach Hackett, no relation to Jalil Hackett, who obviously, you know, he's received multiple messages about and the same question over and over. What up, YouTube family? Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us get to that 1 million subscribers. We're on the road to 1 million. And obviously, we have other great content on our Patreon channel. So since this video is over, head on over to our Patreon and check out all the exclusive content or right here on our YouTube members.